Introduction. Um, Hi, I'm Durgesh Kumar. I'm an ASP student here. I completed my major in mathematics and concentration in physics. Right now, I'm doing advanced major in mathematics and completing my minor in physics. I am from Barauni, which is like 110 kilometers northeast from Patna, Bihar. Yeah.
फिर अब तक के मतलब 4 साल की ये सफर के अंदर तुझे क्या क्या चीज़ें समझ आई उस यूनिवर्सिटी के बारे में, स्पेस के बारे में?
That's a very broad question. एक लाइन में मैं sum up करूँ तो अशोका is a half nice, half funny place. What I mean by that is कि the academics here is really good. It's very rigorous. I have grown a lot in terms of. I never imagined, like, I came here as a physics major and a philosophy minor. Then I switched to physics major and math minor. Finally, I completed a math major, and right now I'm doing a physics minor and advanced math major. So I never thought that I'll study mathematics. I still remember my first calculus class. So I wasn't very good at mathematics. Not to say that I'm very good at maths now, but I wasn't very good at mathematics in high school. Then I came here with doing a physics major, and I had to take a calculus course in my first semester. That was a requirement to take to do a physics major. So I was very scared to take that course because I wanted to postpone it to the second semester. But Professor Fukun, who was the head of department of physics, then he said that you have to take calculus in your first semester. I still remember my first calculus course. In my first class, Professor Madali was teaching, and I went to him and I said, okay, this is calculus. And he said, yeah, this is how maths look like. And that was very different from what used to be the way of teaching. The math doesn't change, but the way of teaching and what kind of things you're focusing on. So that really changed. And I gradually happened to like that. So the academics here is really good. What is funny about this place is when it comes to the students, the very large gap between what values they say they believe in and how they act on it. So Ashoka focuses, at least the student focuses on a lot many issues, which is very important, but they very comfortably ignore many. They very comfortably ignore many of them. Like, and it's very structural in nature also. So I come from a lower middle class background, and I never realized that before coming to Ashoka that I could have a shortage of money anywhere. I mean, I wasn't well off. I'm from a lower class middle background, but it wasn't that I was short on money in somewhere. But Ashoka, especially after the lockdown of how it is structured, everything in Ashoka costs a lot. And it's very structured in nature. You go to the tuck shop, and I know these points may sound very funny or not important, but I know many people to whom this is very important. You go to the tuck shop, you can't find a body shop for like 10 rupees or 20 rupees. You'll find a body shower for 200 rupees. You go to have a juice or something, you can't find it for 20 or 30 rupees. You'll find it for 70 or 80 rupees. You're hungry, you have skipped your lunch because you were preparing for an exam or something. You go to the TSC, the roll costs 80 rupees. When Ashoka was still open, we still had this comfort of going to a Savarpur and having something there. But after the lockdown, this had changed into a bubble, and because of that, it's like you can't get anything for cheap, and that changes a lot of things, and it is very obvious to say this, but the point I'm making is that it's not very obvious to the students. It's not very even noticeable to the other students here. Suppose you're studying for an exam, and now you have an iPad on which you're studying for the exam, and that's all well and good. You have a coffee with you or a juice with you, and you're going all on well. On the other hand, if someone is studying like me, is studying for the exam, and if I skip my lunch for that, I had to spend 200 rupees to even have something in my stomach. And that's very not noticeable to the student. That's why I said students talk about a lot of things here, but see, it's also about how it manifests into different things. That suppose, be it in a relationship, in a friend circle, or anything, the dynamics of it is very much dependent on money. People I still I don't want to say this, but someone really said to me that that they were talking about that they wanted me to be more vulnerable to them, and I was like, okay, this is, and that's what I'm saying. I never noticed that I don't have enough money before coming to Ashoka. Okay, so I was working on something. I still remember my first year I was designing an experiment to do something, and I was showing the designs because these were incomplete designs. So that was the vulnerable part of me, because work was very important to me, still is. But they wanted me to vulnerable in a very specific way, because they were too much focusing on that, I know that I have too much money and you don't have too much money, so I want to be vulnerable, you to be vulnerable there. And when I did, they really said that, yeah, I can understand. I felt the same way, because I was hungry once, and I didn't, and all the dhabas were closed in my, all the KFCs were closed in my area, and I had to get from I had to eat chicken from a dhaba. And I was, bro, really the same. It's the same thing. So this distinction is very much missing. It's like everyone has money. Now let's proceed from here and let's see where you go from it. Talking about the politics here, it's not a secret something that Ashokan students are very much concentrated to the left side of it, which is completely okay. Which is better. In fact, the right wing is something which you should discuss at this point of time of how the ruling party is behaving in India. But the point I'm trying to make is that what experiences have caused you to be centered to the I don't know, inclined to the left side of the politics. I remember my SPF class, Social and Political Formulations, with Professor Catherine Hardy. And Professor Katie was asking that, okay, how many of you will feel bad if a dog dies? And it was a cute picture of dog, so everyone felt bad, and I raised my hand too. And then she asked, how many you feel bad if a cat dies, something like that. Then how many of you feel bad if a deer dies? And it was completely okay. I was like, okay. So I used to do these things. So I said to Professor just slightly, that Professor, please ask cow, okay? And Professor was like, okay, how many of you will feel bad if a cow dies? None of, except for me, no one raised a hand. Now the problem with that is, it's okay if you don't feel if a cow dies. But it says a lot if there's a link to it, that if a dog dies, you don't feel bad. If a cat dies, you feel really bad. If a dog dies, you feel really bad. If a cat dies, you feel really bad. If a deer dies, you feel really bad. But suddenly when it asks about the cow, you don't feel bad. Is it coming because that you don't feel bad because the cow dies, or because the cow is politically placed, of how the animal is politically placed in India? This distinction has to be subtle. I remember my English teacher from high school used to use this phrase that truth is the most specific of things. Truth is never simple. It's very complex. It's very subtle. You have to make a lot of distinction. That distinction, at least politically, is missing in Ashoka. The link in Ashoka is like this, that if you love cows, if you feel bad if a cow dies, that means, forget cows. If you don't like cats, the cats was an issue at one point of Ashoka. So if you don't like cats, you aren't cute. If you aren't cute, that means you love cows. If you love cows, that means you love Modi. If you love Modi, that means you're a fascist. I've tried hard to fathom this link and understand this link, but I don't know, to any sane or rational people listening this, you can understand that there's no link. So that subtlety, in fact, this is not even a subtle point. This is a very non-subtle point, to say the least. That distinction is very much missing in Ashoka. You have every right to believe in whatever politics you want, but you have to get it through experience. If Ashokan's people go today to protest, for like anti-CAA and these things, दिल्ली पुलिस आपके पास आएगी और आपको डंडे नहीं मारेगी बिकॉज यू आर फ्रॉम अशोका, यू नो दैट. JNU के स्टूडेंट्स अगर जाते हैं तो JNU के स्टूडेंट्स को डंडे पड़ेंगे, आपको नहीं पड़ेंगे. यू विल बी escorted to the campus with a, I don't know, AC bus or something, because Ashoka is very much politically connected. It's a private university. So do not please behave that by posting some stories on Instagram you have become a JNU student who have known these struggles, whose political beliefs are placed in their experiences, and who is fighting to change how the system is in India right now. You aren't a JNU student, you are an Ashoka student, and you will always have this privilege. And it's very important to have this humility, because if you get a 3.8 GPA from here and if you land up in Oxford, you should always believe that you have landed in Oxford and there's a certain amount of privilege which has you're merited all the way there. There's a lot of privilege. Merit is not an absolute concept. There's a lot of privilege that has gone into you landing at Oxford. There shouldn't be a belief that I have landed at Oxford because I really deserved, and no one, and the other people who haven't landed at Oxford or Cambridge don't deserve this. And that's why they are not at Oxford and I am at. Trust me, it's not the case. I have, that's about the political things at Ashoka. What else I can say? Very nice people at Ashoka. I have been fortunate to meet many nice people and have make friends with them. And it's no surprise at the college. Of course, you should do that. I think that's all that's coming to my mind right now. If you have a directed question, I can answer more.
Student culture कैसा है Ashoka में? Is it toxic?
Student culture. Well,
बच्चे कैसे हैं यहाँ पे? Students Ashoka में? You see any promise in that?
Well, what's most repulsive to me sometimes about Ashoka is the homogeneity, and mostly the homogeneity of thoughts here. I remember one time I was in the lift and I was going downstairs from, I don't know, 7th or 8th floor. I was going downstairs because I had to get something from I had to go study at Commons, and the lift was crowded. There were many people there, and I just closed my eyes and listened to their conversations and everything. Then I realized I forgot something in my room which I had to take to the Commons, so I went back and took the lift upstairs. So it was a totally different crowd. The lift, the students who were coming downstairs, and the students who were going upstairs in the lift, a totally different group of students, and I can close my eyes, listen to the conversations. So what was homogeneous about them is that they talked the same way, they talked about the same things, they even smelled the same, and everyone wore Nike Jordans. That's very repulsive. Not about a Nike Jordan, that's of course to make it funny, but this homogeneity of thoughts won't lead to something. If you really want to fight for something, there should be distinctions that you make at every place, that what you want to believe in, what things you talk about. This homogeneity of thoughts is very repulsive to me. Talking about the student culture here, well, think about it. There's a fest in Ashoka, which is Banjara, and there's a fest in IIT Kharagpur, or these places. They organize their fest. And in Banjara, in spite of having this wonderful university, you can't even raise 2 to 3 lakhs, and IITians raise crores in crores to have their fest, and they work hard for it because there's a community sense there. Here, there's no community sense in student culture that we should act as a community towards something, that this is what we want to achieve, and you should act as a community to achieve that. Um, which is quite much missing here. Um, um, Competitiveness is a good thing, but only at a school. When you come to college, it shouldn't be. You shouldn't be doing things just to compete with the others. There should be some community sense to achieve few goals. So I don't know. I'm being redundant, but. That is quite much missing here. Yeah. Okay. Good. No, I feel like I should say a few nice things about Ashoka too. I mean, this may come off as that I don't really like this place, but I really do. It's a wonderful opportunity. I never thought that I'll study at Ashoka University. Never thought that I'll be taking courses from Professor Bhatia and Professor Marale and these people. These were people I really admire and still admire. So never thought that these things will come to me. So it's a really good opportunity. What the admin and the founding members, these people should do is make these students understand many things. That one is about this homogeneity of thought, which is not really good for any new kind of innovation or a new kind of thought to arise. Second is that, I don't know, I'm making a silly point, but please replace those 200 rupees body showers in Ashoka with 10 rupees shops. At least keep few of them, and so that I don't know, students feel at home here. There's a lot of talk about many different things, which is very important, but there are problems which is inside of Ashoka, which isn't really talked about. Many problems you talked about seems to happen outside this 25-acre bubble, and no matter how much you talk about it here, if you don't fight it for outside, you aren't going to make a change. This 25-acre people really call it bubble because it's a bubble. The world is really different out there, and if you don't carry your thoughts forward, I don't want to take names, but there have been many people who have been writing poetries about these things, like, I don't know, that brown skin is also beautiful, and these things, and that how Fair and Lovely and these products made India into believing that fair skin is more beautiful. Then the same people land up into companies which sells Fair and Lovely. And that's not one example. I'm not giving a single isolated example. There are many of them. So either accept that hypocrisy, say that you aren't very core in your beliefs, and that won't come. It's not their fault. That belief that what you're really fighting for will come from experiences. Someone who gets lathi charged by Delhi police in JNU because his father is a farmer and he wants to go and protest against these I don't know, destructive farm laws, and you are going in your car and making a protest and taking a picture. You aren't the same. So please either say that you aren't the same, don't act like you are the same, okay? So have your beliefs placed in experiences. That's what I'd say. Go and look outside this world, outside this 25-acre bubble, and then come and make changes. You are studying at a really good university. You have many resources which nearly 90% of India lacks. You have this wonderful library. You have these wonderful teachers, professors. You have admin staff, and these resources aren't available to anyone. So make use of them. Place your beliefs in experiences. Place your beliefs in experiences, and then try to make a change. Then admin should do these things. They should